Well, good evening, Denver Broncos fans. Welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup. I am your host, Keith Brugman, also IT expert, i.e., not an expert. Coming to you late tonight. Sorry about the issues and the timing. Without issues and always with perfect timing. Mr. Trevor Salzman is my co-host tonight. Welcome into the show, Trevor. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great, Keith. Hey, a show is better than no show. So I'd say, even if we were a little late, you're still that best IT guy. You seem to figure out every time. So, just great that we get a show tonight, and we have to bring Broncos Country a show a couple nights early before the game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's we wanted to get in here. We want to put on a fantastic show. I'm trying to get my comments coming up. I got Ernie Mays, I know, in here. There we go. Ernie Mays coming in here and saying, go Broncos Country only. We always know that it's Ernie because he comes in there with the only, and I love the passion. And, hey, man, look what he did. He went over and he took the link, man. Ernie, so good to see your face, sir. Ernie saying hello, Trevor and Keith. Thank you so much for going over to www.streamyard.com/Facebook. Ernie Mays must have just did it, man, because all of a sudden it's switched and he's good to go. Appreciate you, Ernie. Good to see you, man. Ready for a rockin' show, man, and ready for a rockin' show as well. Danny Kitchen, good friend of mine, actually, from way back in the day. It's been a long time since we shook hands, Danny, but hey, here we are, talking Broncos, just like the old days, right here on the Denver Bronco Roundup. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate you a ton, man. Trevor, man, not one game, not one, not two, not three. Oh, okay, maybe just three. We're at 3 games now, man. 3 games that we've actually racked up. We've stacked on top of each other, man. First one, again, everyone went, well, it's the Packers, Yeah. You should have won that game along with a few others, Then we go in, we get the Chiefs, and it's going to be the flu game that went the wrong way for Patrick Mahomes. We all know about a true legend like Michael Jordan having a flu game and going out and putting on a clinic. Not so much for Patrick Mahomes. Next, we welcome in Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. We don't even welcome in. We'll go over their house, man. We're going to go up there on Monday night, which we haven't won a game in forever. We haven't won against the Bills in forever. Put up your excuses now. We go ahead and we took the Bills down. And now it's going to be the Vikings, man. But before we get into that Vikings game, I want to just talk a little bit, man. At first, this team did not look good. This offense did not look good. Agreed?
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
No, go ahead. Elaborate, man.
No, so I was going to say, yeah, they were just trying to really figure it out. I think it's on both sides of the ball. They were really struggling. We talked about the defense for a long time. I think the defense has found its footing a little bit. I think a lot of the reason this team's winning is because they are playing such great defense. The offense, I don't think, is fully lived up to the potential yet, but they're definitely getting there. Yeah, exactly. You might be running out of fingers here pretty soon if you keep going down there. But just great progress. Also, just patience. I think that's the biggest thing that we've been preaching on. Patience. Continue to be patient with this team. This is a whole new coaching staff this year, whole new scheme. Let these guys they're human. They have to learn it. I mean, no matter if you're veteran league, if you're a rookie in the league, don't matter. They still have to have time to learn it. And we're starting to finally see this team really knock the cobwebs off and really just take care of business, honestly.
Yeah, this brings up a good point. I was thinking about this just the other day. Want to bounce this off you? Bounce this all off all our friends that are out there. By the way, I was counting up my fingers on the screen because Ernie Mays came in and said, "I said 8 in a row." Well, you're 3 there, man. 5 to go. Good luck, man. That's going to be a tough run, but it is possible. We might get to that a little bit as well. Also, like I said, good friends in the chat talking about good friends. Pearl Heater's coming in. She doesn't have her winning Denver Bronco Roundup onion rings tonight, man. She saves those for game night. But when she does, man, I think we're undefeated with the onion rings now.
Yeah, honestly,
we're undefeated with the onion rings. Oh my goodness, Pearl. you cannot let up on those onion rings, man. Might have to, for those big games, might have to brew up a double batch there, So get us all taken care of. Make sure we don't lose. Appreciate it. So and she's coming in. She said, "Well, it's pizza tonight." All right. Well, pizza on any other on a non-game night sounds great. So
yeah, exactly.
And thank you very much as well, Pearl. So coming in with the big thank you hands. Might as well get through all these real quick. Got the fantastic Kenny Kirkpatrick saying, "Good evening, Denver Bronco Roundup brothers. It's the stepfather. He's in the building." Yes, he's Kenny Kirkpatrick, big Giants fan. Has formally adopted the Denver Bronco Roundup, and because of that, he has adopted the name the Stepfather. Kind of like the Godfather, but the Stepfather. Love it, buddy. No, I wanted to get back now. Here we are. We're, yes, it's the second year with Russell Wilson, right? But it's a brand new head coach. All new coaches. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's his quarterback coach, his offensive line coach. I mean, you name it. Offense is completely different. There's like 2 guys that were held over, and that might include our GM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, literally table wipe clean, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to learn a new offense. Everybody's got to learn a new defense. Is it because Sean Payton's won a Super Bowl and because Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl that, 5 games in, we're all hitting the panic button and people are saying sell off all the pieces, hit implode mode, this is done? I think about it if it was the reverse, right? Rookie QB, brand new head coach. Are we thinking? Are we just not allowing, like you said, the patience to come for this offense? And now that the patience has been given, at least within Dove Valley, we're starting to see some of the benefits. Is that what we're seeing, Trevor?
Yeah, I think it is. Obviously, I think that this team. I mean, you had an experienced head coach last year with Hackett. Now, again, who was the problem? It looks like Hackett was the problem, honestly. And being with New York, the New York media is really ripping him lately as far as he still has a job in New York. I love, Hackett's got a great personality, a great guy, but I think that he just never, and as far as offensive mind, he's just not the great offensive mind that everybody thought he might be under Matt LaFleur. So, I just think that I think patience is a big thing. I think also. I think Broncos coach is just tired of losing, and who can blame him? Who can blame him? 7 straight losing seasons now. I mean, it's ridiculous that it's been that long, and we've been through so many different teams and so many different rides that we just don't know. We want to finally win, and I think Broncos country is just tired of it, and I think ownership was tired of it too. That's why you've seen the ownership just really take accountability and really push for a Super Bowl winning head coach and Sean Payton and do whatever it took to get him. And bring him here to fix Russell Wilson because they're invested in Russell Wilson, regardless of what. Oh, are they going to release him at the end of the year? They're not going to do anything with Russell Wilson right now. I mean, that's their quarterback going forward in the future. They invested in him. Now it's up to them and Sean Payton to really get the most out of Russell Wilson. I think that's the biggest thing here. But yeah, patience is a big thing because any system, it don't matter what. Look at Dan Campbell with Detroit. How long did it take him to get that team where it is at? Now, they need a talent, but also Jared Goff wasn't exactly great when Dan Campbell first got there. So he had to finally find his rhythm. It took time to do so. To do the same thing here in Denver. We're finally starting to see the ramifications of this team just really being patient, continuing to stick with their guns. Sean Payton, George Payton did that at the deadline. We've seen that. They stuck with their guns. They stuck with their players, and look at where we're at now.
Preaching patience in a league that typically doesn't have any. Man, I mean, it's tough, man. It's one of the reasons that I always point to the Pittsburgh Steelers as a place that I always envy as a franchise. They have patience. It'd be really easy to start pulling the plug on coaches left and right, man. That's not their, way of doing things. It's certainly not the way of doing things, from the front office all the way down. GMs stay forever, coaches stay forever. You know what I mean? They will stick it out. They'll ride it out. There is something to be said about not just constantly flipping. At some point, you need to build a system and put it together and see if it's workable. You know what I mean? See if it has legs. And I think we're starting to see that it has legs.
Well, and
we're starting to see is pay dividends. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say we've kind of already been through that whole thing where we are trying to flip quarterback after head coach after head coach. It's not worked. It's over 7 years. So at some point in time, you have to have a different philosophy with your team. Patience is the next way to go. You've already proven that you keep going after these head coaches and you're paying them money, and then they're going to different teams and they're succeeding. And same with the quarterbacks, the bridge quarterbacks. Finally, I mean, you have to kind of settle at some point in time, and so you can have success. I mean, you keep year after year, you're not having that consistency with your quarterback and head coach. Your team's never going to get anywhere.
The easiest way to have success? Tie yourself to a contract that it makes it impossible for it to get out. No, that's one way to have success, because I think that's part of the reason you're with Russell Wilson, right? It would have been really easy to be like, okay, no, we tried another bridge quarterback. Let's move on. No, we invested pretty dang big. We invested pretty dang big in Sean Payton. This isn't like a Stokely in San Diego that's pulling down like $4 million a year, and it's like, well, we'd love to let him go, but he's so cheap. Who else are we going to get in here for this cheap? So no, I mean, that being said, man, patience has paid off. This Broncos team is starting to come together. It's starting to gel. I'm going to jump over to Matt Staffiero. He's jumping in here. By the way, Matt Staffiero does have a little. I always do that. I always say little, and it sounds belittling. Matt Staffiero has his own podcast as well. It's called Colorado Sports Connection, guys. Check him out. Him and David Slade, and they do great things over there. Just got off the ground, got rolling, and been putting out some great content. So he's coming in and saying Burrow goes down with the Bengals, Watson with the Browns go down, and Cousins with the Vikings, whom the Broncos play, is out for the season. Looking like the year of QB2 just may boost the Broncos' odds of making the playoffs. Man, ain't that you can add in an Aaron Rodgers. I know it's not necessarily, well, no, it's AFC as well, and the Jets, you know what I mean? So, I mean, any others that we want to talk about? Nothing that really, hey, we got the Colts.
Oh, yeah, with Richardson, yeah.
With Richardson goes down, Minshew goes in. So, yeah, absolutely, just paying. It is the year of the QB2, man. Oh, yep. And Matt's jumping in here. Even Aiden O'Connell, yep, absolutely. Quarterback for the Raiders now, if anybody that doesn't know. So, if you're not keeping up on and yeah, he's coming in as saying Raiders as well. So,
I wouldn't, Keith, real quick before we move on.
No,
so
go ahead.
Here's the thing with those teams, though. They have head coaches that know how to get the most of their players. So it's not just it looks great right now because their franchise quarterbacks went down. But look what Joshua Dobbs is doing in Minnesota, and Kevin O'Connell is getting the most out of him right now. Yeah, he kind of looked all right in Arizona, but now he's really starting to take shape in Minnesota. What's to say that we're not going to get the same there in Cincinnati, or we're not going to get the same there in Cleveland? Those are teams that I know how to win for the most part. So I would say at least 2 out of 3 of those teams know how to win. So it's not going to be a guarantee that this team the Broncos are just going to get in. They're still going to have to play football. I mean, we talk about it all day, and it sounds simple, but it's just like, if you think about it, those are winning organizations. Those teams have been to the playoffs. They know what it takes. This Broncos team's still learning how to do that right now.
We play to win the game.
Yeah.
Yes, we still have to play these games, man. We got to figure it out. It's not just going to be handed to us. It's
No.
not. It's not going to be that easy, right? Yes, attrition is coming about, but it will make it easier. But hey, here's a Broncos team that already put themselves in a hole. Hey, maybe if we won those games we were supposed to, and we saw this in front of us, maybe that would look a little bit more rosy. But hey, man, these are games that we're going to have to win. Um, Matt Staffiero does come in and say, but it does make it that the games the Broncos should win.
But they
Makes
should
it
win. They should win those anyways because they just beat the Chiefs and the Bills. Those are two franchises
that
that haven't really. I mean, they've been two most winning franchises in football, so they should win those games anyways. They shouldn't be relying on other people's injuries, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that, but not before I get to a good friend of ours here in the chat. I got Patrick Wiltsey coming in saying aloha, gents. Well, aloha to you. And when I say aloha, I say hello right now because that also can mean goodbye. Maybe we'll get to that at the end of the show as well, Patrick. Thank you so much for joining the show. Fantastic gentleman over there, always supporting us. Appreciate you a ton, and look forward to seeing more of you here in the future. So, this is what I wanted to get to, man. We did beat the Chiefs. We did beat the Bills. We did beat Mahomes. We did beat Josh Allen. Is it possible at all that this is a sleeper type of a game for the Broncos? Or are they already so far in the hole and already had to grind it out to get to this point that they're still 100% focused? Because my worry is you beat Mahomes, you beat Josh Allen, and you lose to Josh Dobbs. Well, that's not good. So where do you think the mindset of this Denver Broncos team is at right now? Is it in the right place, Trevor?
Yeah, I think they're in the right place because Sean Payton's been there and done that before. I mean, I think his experience as the Broncos head coach, well, just head coach in general with the Saints, when he knows how to win. I mean, he knows to get the most out of these players. I think he's starting to figure out this locker room and figure out these players and what play their strengths. And I think it's starting to trickle down to VJ now with the defense. Now he's playing to these players' strengths. So I think that he's got these players focused because if you ask me, if you have Nathaniel Hackett or a rookie head coach in here that has maybe not been a part of that winning culture or has not been a head coach in that situation before, then I think you have an argument that maybe this team does lose focus. But you have that veteran leadership head coach that's been there, done that before, and he's won before. He knows what it takes to get these players focused and what they need to do going forward.
Not only that, man, showed faith in every single one of them, right?
Yeah.
Talked about the trade deadline. Well, let's back up because even he talked about it. Hey, before the season started, all these guys' names were out there. We didn't take calls. And here we are at the trade deadline again, and I know it's your guys' job about talking about all these guys and all the possibilities, but we're not taking calls. And lived up to that. It's one thing to be saying, hey, we're not taking calls, and it's like, well, but they offered too much for Jerry Jeudy, so we shipped him. Because that happens a lot. Matt's coming in here and says, which makes me conflicted, laugh out loud, because the Broncos lose games they should win and win games they should lose. Once again, laugh out loud.
Well, I was going to
agreed to a point, but this is what I see. I see a team that was losing to teams that they should have won the games on, or the games in, whatever that is. They should have won those games, but they were just terrible. They were terrible from stem to stern. They were losing by 70 points. We were going out there and taking timeouts because we couldn't get the play out there in time. You know what I mean? We looked discombobulated on offense. If you look at Russell Wilson's passing chart in the first couple of games, it would look like what everybody thinks they want. Him airing it out down the field, 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards sometimes down the field, in losing efforts. This team was not together when they were losing. Now they're starting to win, and they're winning against good teams, and I think that's just circumstantial. If they had bad teams in front of them these last couple of weeks, I think they would have won those too. I think they've just come together. But I understand where you're coming from, Matt. From a fan perspective, sure feels like it's like, oh no, this is a sleeper game because it's a bad team we should win against, right? Or that's not necessarily bad team that's went on a 5-0 run. So watch out. You look like you're wanting to interject, man. I'll let you take the mic for a second.
No. So what I was going to say was, so I think that it's not a mistake that I think these Broncos struggled early on, though. I mean, they didn't beat the Raiders, didn't take care of the Commanders at home, obviously. But I just wonder, like we say, oh well, what if they would have won those games? Where would they be at? Yeah, but I think things play out for a reason. If they don't, I mean, if they win those games, are they at this point right now where they just beat the Chiefs and the Bills and the Packers? You know, because it's easy to say, oh well, they'll go on a 5-game winning streak or whatever. You know, it's just like I think they learned something because they tried something from the beginning. Sean Payton came in, he wanted to make Russ a passing quarterback instead of running the ball. He didn't want to commit to the run for the longest time. We talked about it on this podcast. He didn't want to commit to the run, and the defense was, I mean, we don't know where they would be at today if they would take care of business early on. Maybe they would have sneaked out a couple of wins. But here's the thing: you live and learn. This team learned in the beginning with the philosophy that they were going after in the beginning didn't work, so they had to adjust to get to this point. So I think that they're going to be better in the long run now that they've learned from their mistakes. And I'd rather them learn in the early on than learn now. You know?
Yeah. You want to take your licks early, you know, and like you said, build up that scar tissue, get those calluses. You know, you don't want all the hard work to come in right at the very end when you're in that playoff run. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, we've never seen this or felt this or done this before. You know what I mean? This is something different. No, take your licks and get your 70 points hung on you early in the season. You know what it feels like and never want to go back there. I like that, man. You know, this Broncos team, you know, with this momentum, with these last couple of games, again, Monday night, beating the Buffalo Bills, that was a huge game, man. Now we're bringing in the Vikings, man. And I'll be honest, man, there are things that scare me about the Vikings, and it isn't just Josh Dobbs either. You know, Josh Dobbs is doing a fantastic job, you know, and he's a running quarterback. But this defense is no joke. I went back and I just watched a little bit of tape, man. I wish I would have been able to put a little bit more time in it, but a little bit of tape. One thing I didn't realize is, they are Brian Flores and this defense is blitz at a higher percentage than any defense in the NFL right now. But on the flip side, they also have the highest percentage of only rushing 3. This is a highly disguised defense, and this offensive line for the Denver Broncos are going to be up against it. On top of that, we're not really sure what's going to be happening with Ben Powers, left guard, so we might be down a guy on that offensive line for the first time this season. Trevor, man, when you look at this Broncos offense going up against this Vikings defense, where are the holes? How do we get it done? You know, how do we get past that blitz that's been honestly getting to these teams the last couple of weeks for sure?
Yeah, and also they have the leading sack guy on their team as well, Danielle Hunter. So that's a guy that Garrett Bowles is going to have his money go, for him in this game because he's going to have to really protect Russell Wilson. Russ is going to have to get the ball out a lot sooner. He really, what worries me so much, Keith, I think is Russ really holds on to the ball way too much, and he makes a play out of something that's not. Sometimes it's better just to get rid of the ball and then let another down instead of taking a sack. And that's my biggest thing with Russell Wilson. He's got to learn how to get rid of the ball. And this game in particular, we could be seeing, a big game from this Minnesota defense if Russ continues to hold the ball all day long. Because again, this Minnesota defense, they're pretty good at stopping the run. So they're not just like one category or the other.
One-dimensional.
Yeah, exactly. They are just a great group in general. So they're going to make you, if the run's not there, you're going to have to pass. This kind of reminds me of the Buffalo Bills game because the Bills were that same team as well. That's the team that you're going to have to mix up a little bit of pass and run. If the run game's not there, you're going to quickly have to pivot. But I wonder how Sean Payton's going to do that with Russell Wilson because you think Russell holds the ball too long. We need to start getting the ball out quicker and out of Russ's hands because you have a elite pass rusher on the left side. And Danielle Hunter, this is a guy that he's a living nightmare right now. And so you have to adjust to that. You have to game plan just with him in general, but the whole defense as well.
All right, man. So I'm going to make you scheme it up. Last week we saw something we hadn't seen in a long time. we had more 3 wide receiver sets bringing Marvin Mims onto the field, if I remember correctly, 69% of the time, which was below, again, Judy and Cortland Sutton. They were all on the field quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you went 3 wide receiver set, and you didn't get the ball out quick enough, as you said. Before you were in a 2 wide receiver set, would you go back to a 2 wide receiver set and go max protect? Or do you go the opposite way and you go a 4 wide receiver set so that you have more guys out there to throw to quicker? What are you going to do? Scheme it up for me, Mr. Trevor Salzman.
See, that's the thing. I think that you can probably play with both. I would in this game, but I would say probably 4 wide. I think because you have more targets, so you're able to run those slants across the middle, get the ball out quicker with Russ. I also wouldn't be surprised if screens aren't part of this game, especially if they're blitzing a lot. They're going to come up in Russ's face. I mean, you're going to have – this is a perfect game, I think, for those screen passes. And I know a lot of times Sean Payton kind of gets a little heat for that, but it's like this game would be perfect for that. You have an elite pass rusher. He's going to be in Russ's face all day, and they're going to like you just said, they're going to be blitz heavy. What better way than just to get rid of that blitz a little bit by doing a little bit of screens and letting your offensive line kind of block a little bit. But I would go 4 wide. Just because max protect, I mean, you're really relying on your offensive line to really protect. And Mike Lynch, I just don't trust him on that right side still. He still don't have my full trust. So I would say 4 wide, get the ball out quick. But again, Russ has got to get the ball out quick and make quick reads. Lately, he just hasn't done that, in my opinion.
Very good. One thing that I thought of as you were kind of talking there about the screens, one thing that we haven't seen a whole lot of but could scheme up a little bit better, and especially in this situation, is it might be good to do a little bit of rolling out.
Yeah,
it might be good to do a little rolling out and get away from that pressure, get Russ out of the pocket a little bit. These receivers, though, and it's been pointed out by multiple media outlets, I guess you could say, from national all the way down, these receivers need to do better at getting open, especially as, the intended time of the play and the timing of the play is off. You need to find ways to get open. Call it the Travis Kelce, whatever it happens to be, man. Travis Kelce finds a spot, finds a way, gets on the move, whatever needs to happen in order to, help his quarterback, aid his quarterback. Russell Wilson goes back there. He's got 2 guys out in coverage, and they're covered, and they just kind of like get to the end of the route, and they're like, okay, now what? It's like, no, you got to keep moving, man. Help your quarterback. So maybe, especially in that rollout type of offense where you're getting a lot of, movement across the field, where they have the whole field they can go across, sneaking a tight end out. I'd love to see a tight end get involved. And that'll get me over to the offensive or the defensive side of the ball as well. But, getting this offense going, it's not going to be easy. They're tough against the run. I'm telling you guys, the closest thing I remember is when the New England Patriots were at the top of their game defensively, when they would come and they would load up every single gap and look like they were just bringing the house at you, or they'd have, overloaded to one side and look like they're just going to come at you on that side and then completely bail, or they are coming and you don't know which is going to happen. You're going to see a lot of that from Minnesota. It's going to be a lot of pressure on this offensive line. Getting the ball out quick. We need to get that run game going again. That can't get away from that run game. That's been a staple. We've been doing well. As you said, get the ball out quickly and some screen passes. Everything is going to have to be on the table. It's going to be a bigger challenge than I think most people are expecting to go up against the Minnesota Viking defense.
Is this the best defense that Denver's faced all around all season long, in your opinion?
No, because we did play the New York Jets.
Okay.
And the New York Jets, I think, is right up there as well. And we have the Cleveland Browns right around the corner, man. So it hasn't been a cakewalk as far as easy defenses so far this year. Hey, but look at it. Kansas City is not an easy defense.
Yeah, no.
And we were able to get it done. And that's what I think that's going to be kind of what this game is going to be kind of like. It's going to be a kind of get it done type of game, right?
Right.
I did want to flip over, and I kind of went off as far as the tight ends are concerned, because, like I said, I'd love to get that pass-catching tight end involved. Well, guess what, man? When you flip over to the other side, Minnesota Vikings, they got one.
Yeah,
They got one, and I'll tell you what, it's a favorite target. It seems like of
yeah,
Mr. Josh Dobbs. Mr. T.J. Hawkinson is a big issue. He was looking last week more like Travis Kelce than Travis Kelce has looked most of this year. So
yeah,
that's something to be thinking about right off the bat. Now, I will say, with us having to scheme for Dalton Kincaid in the Buffalo Bills, I think that'll help as well. But when you start looking at this Vikings offense matched up against this Denver Bronco defense, man, once again, where can we be victorious? What do we got to do? How do we stop Josh Dobbs and the now 5-0 run Minnesota Vikings? 5 in a row, man.
yeah. I think that this is arguably so. I think not even arguably so. I think just this is the best kind of threat that Denver's secondary is gonna have to face this season. You have Hawkinson, you have Jordan Atkinson, you have Justin Jefferson coming back. Those are three guys that you're gonna have to contain in this game. And those are three elite guys, by the way. So Denver's secondary is definitely going to be testing this one. Why I think the Broncos have a strength, I think, in this game in particular, would be just getting after the quarterback. Because here's the thing: that Minnesota team, they do not run the ball efficiently, in my opinion. And so, just looking at the stats, they're more of a pass heavy team. So with Dobbs, you're gonna have to keep him in the pocket, though. He's a guy that likes to kind of roll out a little bit. He will use his feet. So you're going to have to keep him contained in the pocket and really put pressure on him. This is why I think the Broncos edge rushers in this game, Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper, Baron Browning, even Zach Allen, these guys are going to be really key in this game because they're going to be able to get after Dobbs. They have to. You cannot just let him get back in the pocket and just pass all day or roll out because he's very smart, very one of the more smarter public quarterbacks in the league. And public players in the league, honestly, he's really got a lot of big IQ, big, really smart guy. So he's going to try to figure it out. So you really have to kind of scheme, but maybe a little bit sneaky scheme in there because again, if he figures it out, it might be a long day for the Broncos defense.
Yeah, you don't want him figuring it out at all, man.
No.
It is a somewhat one-dimensional. Alexander Madison, Kenny Kirkpatrick will recognize the name, and so will Albert Knoppers. They have a little going back and forth on that. But Alexander Madison, they're number one. I will say, that being said, last week, and I was just pulling up the name, Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler was starting to go off, and kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Jaleel McLaughlin style of running back. He started getting some pretty good gains for them last week. This is the thing that really concerns me. Last week, they absolutely handled the New Orleans Saints. And the New Orleans Saints aren't necessarily the high-powered offense everyone thought they would be, but they are one of the tougher defenses in the league as well.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like they had much issue when it came to pass protecting, especially the Minnesota Vikings and Josh Dobbs. I mean, it was easily handled. He had time in the pocket. So your point of getting after this quarterback, this defense is going to have a big game as well, man, because if the Saints weren't getting after Josh Dobbs, and they're supposed to be one of the best, again, I think it's going to be a tough task. So the secondary will be another thing. I think, and I want to get to this question because Kenny brought this up. Kenny Kirkpatrick, by the way, anybody who's tuning in, and we'll get to a couple sponsorships later and who are brought to you by and the whole 9 yards, but Kenny gets the first spot of the night, I guess. So Kenny has a fantastic show called the K&K Sports Show. They're from the East Coast. They cover all the major sports from, like I said, coast to coast, all the way. Check those guys out. One of my favorite shows, Wits and Wagers. Fantastic. If you guys are into doing any betting or just even have toyed with the idea, by the way, we might have a little bit of Joey Clams on our show at one point as well, over from the K&K Sports Show. So if you guys are interested in that, go check those guys out. By the way, also the other half of K&K Sports Show, Kurt Valente, has a Broncos show every Wednesday night. So you'll want to check that out. By the way, so Kenny comes in here, says, my question this evening, fellas, is what do you think Joseph will do with PS2? Cover Jefferson, Addison, or both? Trevor, I'll throw it over to you first. What are your thoughts? How do we match up? Of course, Justin Jefferson coming back. Some people thought he might have had a chance last week. Gave it another week to rest. Comes back for Sunday Night Football. Big target. One of the best wide receivers in the league. If he comes back and he's 100% healthy, he's going to be a handful. Addison's been coming on, though, in his absence, and hasn't looked too bad himself. Has been obviously the main wide receiver threat. So what do you do with PS2? How do you cover these guys, man?
I say that PSU's got to be on Jefferson. Just I don't think you have a corner that's long enough. I think on your roster currently that PS2. And again, like you said, Keith, that's Jefferson. You know, when he's on, he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. As great as Addison is, I mean, PSU can't. You don't have two PS2, so you got to pick your poison regardless. But I think he starts on Jefferson as a big time receiver, and just Surtain's length. I like Surtain on Jefferson in my opinion. Probably McMillan, I would say, on Addison to start the game at least.
I'm going to go just the opposite.
Okay.
Because I'm a little bit worried about Justin Jefferson and all his abilities. So I'm going to double him up.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a safety over the top. I'm going to put Fabian Moreau underneath. I'm going to double him all day long. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put PS2 over on Jordan Addison. So that would be my scheme. I just think Justin Jefferson's just way too much for one guy to handle, even if you are PS2. By the way, I'm fully on board with PS2 being the number one cornerback in the league at this point.
Yeah,
I think he is,
hands
down. But that being said, I think Justin Jefferson is the number one wide receiver in the league right now when healthy. And if that's the case, man, sometimes those don't always equal, right?
Right.
Pearl's saying looks like Jefferson is out. Last time I saw he was in, but
I thought too.
I might be wrong. I'll double check Pearl, but it looks like he's in.
If he's not, then you're probably start Surtain on Addison, no doubt, and then Hawkinson. They're just gonna have to find somebody. But Hawkinson, I think, can't get left behind in this one. I mean, we talked about the receivers, but Hawkinson is, like you said, he gets targeted quite a bit, and so the Broncos have had troubles covering tight end. Now they did stop Kelsey to be honest. So they do have a formula this year seems like better than they have in previous years to cover tight ends. So hopefully Hawkinson, they can just shut him down. But I think he's a guy that you can't get too lost in this whole wide receiver battle. And
100%. 100%, man. I think he's right now on their team, he's wide receiver 1. Justin Jefferson comes back, he becomes wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about who he's looked at, who Josh Dobbs looks at, who he throws at. Hawkinson is no joke. So you guys are over here in the comments and distracted me just a little bit. So I wanted to get in here and get Clayton in here. Clayton's coming in and saying, hey guys, and we always know it's Clayton when he comes in with this. Smash that like button and share, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Clayton. Clayton is a fantastic supporter of the Denver Bronco Roundup. We appreciate everybody that comes in, comments. It's been a while, but any Facebook stars, any YouTube super chats, we love those as well. That always helps us out a little bit as well. But thank you guys so much being here every single night, being part of the conversation. It's fantastic. And Jody, our co-host, who can go over to StreamYard.com/Facebook so he can see his profile pic and name, comes in and says, box and one like you did with Kelsey. That's his solution for TJ Hawkinson as well.
So, Keith, real quick before we go forward. So with Jefferson, he's 6'1". Moreau is 6 foot. And then you have McMillan, who's 5'10". Do you worry about size when you are double teaming Jefferson there? That's the reason. Only reason I say is because he can match the size against Jefferson. My only worry is they're going to throw the deep ball with Dobbs, and then you're going to have Jefferson be able to go get the ball if he plays. Last time I checked, he's questionable by the game.
Okay. There you go. Well, maybe that will work out in our favor because Justin Jefferson, even as a decoy target, you're going to have someone good on him, right? You're not going to just let him hang out there and put Damari Mathis on him and say, don't worry about it, boys.
Right.
I guess I look at that and you're saying Fabian Moreau's 6 foot and he's 6'1". That's a 1 inch difference. I'm not too worried about that. And again, I'm looking at Fabian Moreau and the way he's been playing. He's been playing opposite PS2.
Yeah.
No one throws at PS2. That
Yeah.
means everyone throws at Fabian Moreau or
Yeah.
in his direction if they
Yeah.
can. But guess what? Haven't seen Fabian Moreau getting toasted. Haven't seen Fabian Moreau have to make miraculous plays in order to, get a incompletion. No, he's had his guys locked up too.
Yeah.
So I think if you put Fabian Moreau with like a Justin Simmons over the top of him, I think you're sitting pretty good.
Okay.
I think you're sitting pretty good. That again, that's just my thought. That's how I would do it. Like you said a little bit earlier, when I was asking about wide receivers and how many you're put on the field, like you said, well, I probably do a little bit of everything, Keith. But
Yeah.
of course, yeah, you're not going to just play one specific. But in general, man, I think that's how I would try to go about it. I think you'd still be fine.
Yeah.
Got a few other thoughts on here. Jody's coming in here and saying, no need. I'm trying. No need to double team Jefferson because he won't be 100%. Also coming saying man to man, maybe a spy now and again. Nick Bonito played that well in college. Him on the QB. I think was one of my. Oh, that was Clayton. I'm sorry. You guys need to help me out. Get over to StreamYard.com/Facebook, like Pearl did. It's coming in and saying, according to Mile High Huddle, Jefferson was limping and hurting a bit in practice today. So that doesn't sound good. So,
Maybe
that's what happens when you have 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah. Exactly.
Didn't get to all that news, but so I appreciate you guys coming in here and getting me all caught up to speed. So I thought he was going to be back. Heck, I thought he was going to be back last week. And, well,
Yeah,
quite
maybe
honestly, he's
not.
on my fantasy team. So now I got to worry about that. Thanks a lot, guys. Boy, you got everything going for me. No.
Yeah. That's a
Hey,
big.
if he's out, that
That's
should
huge.
help us. That should
Yeah.
help us a ton.
That's
That
huge.
should help us a ton.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to this though, man. I think it was Clayton that just came in here just a moment ago and kind of mentioned it as well, saying, and when he was talking about how we take care of Josh Dobbs, we did just go up against Josh Allen. I think honestly, Patrick Mahomes might be a little bit better comparison to what we see from a Josh Dobbs. We did both well against both those guys. Do we continue to spy on him? Do we? I mean, how do you contain the Josh Dobbs? Or is it just simply you're just pass rushing him, trying to get him flushed, trying to get him flustered?
I think a
How
little
are you
bit
going to
of
go
both.
against a little bit? You're my little bit of both guy tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
though, man.
Yeah, no, and so I would say also Alex Singleton. I think he's pretty good, been in a pretty good spot the past couple of games as well, on both on Allen and so I would say even have Alex Singleton in that role. I think he's done a great job. Josie Jewell covers Hawkinson. I mean, that would be the thing. But I think that also getting after the quarterback. I think if any, again, I don't know, maybe we'll probably get down the line in the show. But I was going to say Nick Bonito. I mean, I think it's go time for him. He's got to get. Got to get into that sack column. He hasn't had a sack since we played the Jets, so he's got to. I think in any game, because they're gonna their running game. I'm not worried as much about their running game because again they're 29th in the rush yards right now. So I mean they're just their running game just not there in my opinion. So I would say if anything, this is the time to turn it up with your edge rushers. This is a game to really see what you got with Browning, with Bonito, with Cooper, Zach Allen, even DJ Jones. This is the game to do it right now.
All right, man. Dial it up, dial it up, dial it up. Get that guy flushed, get him flustered, get him on the ground, get him sacked. As Clayton's saying, let's go. Denver Broncos for life. You said you might want to get to something a little bit deeper in the show. We only got a few minutes. I apologize that we went late. We wanted to start at 6:45. I'll go all the way up till 8 o'clock, guys, and then we probably got to run. That gives us about 9 more minutes, it looks like here. So, if you have something, if not, I want to go maybe, past this game, not looking ahead. I don't want to be looking ahead. I don't want the Broncos looking ahead too much. But we did want to start talking about playoffs, playoff contention, playoff runs. I don't know. Do you want to put a prediction as far as win or loss on this game so we can have that conversation? We'll give final score at the very end.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just kind of keys to
Oh yeah,
both
sorry. I
parties.
say
Both
like, hey,
parties.
if you want to say something now, no, I'm not going to let you. No, go
No,
ahead, go. But
no. So I was just gonna say keys to this game, both on offense and defense. For me, to the player wise, Garrett
mhm.
Bowles on offense, he's got to contain Danielle Hunter, and then on defense, I would say Nick Benito because I think that again he hasn't had a sack since the Jets game. We've got to start seeing him tune it up a little bit. He's got that ability. This is the game to do it. Got to get in Dobbs' head. Got to get after him. And you have to see what you have in Nick Benito. And this game, I think, is the game this is Nick Benito game in my opinion. This is the time for him to shine. With being how Minnesota just really pass heavy and they're not as great in the run. So,
Mm.
but again, can't just ignore the run, of course. But I will more worry about Dobbs than I do the running game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, well, then I'll put if you want to put keys to the game really quick. I'm gonna put it right. Kind of, I usually put it in the trenches. I'm gonna go one step back.
Right.
The linebackers in this game will be key between T.J. Hawkinson and I think honestly getting after this quarterback. You're gonna have to use your linebacker from time to time. That's going to be your best bet. So these middle linebackers, Alex Singleton, Josie Jewell, that's a big key on defense in my opinion. Especially now that everyone's updated me that Jordan Jefferson's going to be out, or Justin Jefferson, sorry. On the other side, again, one step back from the trenches, we cannot forget about the run game. I think that'll be key in start stopping the blitzes and making sure that Russell isn't under pressure all night long, that we're not holding the ball, taking sacks. Again, and taking a little bit of relief off this offensive line. We've talked about it week after week after week. They weren't built to be able to throw the ball 40 times a game. They're built to go out there and rush the ball 40 times a game. So let's continue on that path, and I think that will help us out a ton. There will be openings.
Yeah.
There's certainly openings in this Vikings defense that you can take advantage of, especially with the way that they blitz. So there will be, I think, some big opportunities in the passing game, and they'll come, but they'll come in limited capacity. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna I'm gonna throw this right out out of left field real quick though. My surprise player of the game. My surprise player of the game is going to be Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy has a game. I think Jerry Jeudy goes off, and if nothing else, I think one, it schemes well for him in the way that they go after it and the way they're blitzing and like you were talking about, quick passes, the whole 9 yards. Two, there's a guy named Justin Jefferson that might be on the sideline, but there's been a lot of comparisons of Jerry Jeudy and Justin Jefferson. I think Jerry Jeudy would love to have a game up there in Minnesota or against Minnesota, not up there in Minnesota, against Minnesota. So that's my surprise player. I don't know if you have one.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jerry Jeudy would be a great one. I didn't even think about that one. I think he's a great guy. If you're gonna get the ball quick, then he's your guy that goes out in the middle. He's got the speed. You can give him the ball. I mean, that should be the guy you probably target to get the ball in this game. The Jerry Jeudy helps a lot. I'm not sure Marvin Mims. I'm not sure Cortland Sutton how much fact they're going to be in this game. I don't want to say Cortland Sutton won't be a factor because in the end zone, in the red zone, Russell Wilson tends to look at him. But my fear is again in this game, you cannot hold the ball too long in this game. So if Sutton can get over the middle quick enough and break his route, then I mean you're not going to be looking for him. You can't afford to look for him because you're going to have Danielle Hunter right on your behind. So you just cannot be looking deep ball in this game. I don't know how much Marvin Mims plays in this game either, as far as on the offensive side of the ball, just because he is that deep threat. If there's other ways you can use him, of course, but deep threat, I don't know that this is the game to do that in.
Just don't use him on a reverse, please.
Yeah,
Stop using him on a reverse. I would love to get a prediction from you, but also before that, got to get to this. Pearl Heater coming in saying, love both of you. A big thank you. Just Win Broncos. Lots of hearts in there. Thank you so much, Pearl. Appreciate the support. It is fantastic. You've just come in and been all of a sudden one of our biggest DBR fans, and can't thank you enough. Not to give any disrespect to all of you guys that are in our chats. It seems like every single night, but Pearl just came out of nowhere and has been blowing it up. So really appreciate that, Pearl. Let me see what else. Oh, so I said I'd love to get a prediction. So I guess I should get a prediction from you, because if not, I'd just be a big liar. So go ahead, man. Let's get a prediction, because we got a few other people coming on their thoughts as well. Throw those up on the screen.
Yeah, so I got Broncos 21-17 this game. I think it's going to be a really kind of a mid-score type of game, but I think the Broncos will get the job done. I have a lot of confidence. Speaking, they went against the Chiefs and the Bills, in my opinion, are tougher matchups when they play at their best. And I think the Broncos will come out. They will have a good scheme on both sides of the ball to both stop Dobbs in that offense, but also playing to their strengths on offense. And maybe this is a game that they finally break out a little bit. Maybe this is a game that we see Russell Wilson break out a little bit, because he's getting, again, another game in the Sean Payton type offense that he gets under his belt. Maybe this is the Russell Wilson game.
I like it, man. I like it. This is going to be a big challenge, man. I've went back and forth. I thought this was going to be maybe a low-scoring game for a little bit, but like I said, I think there's opportunity in there. So I'm going to give it another Broncos win. We need to get it. We need to continue that path. Like I said, we cannot get lulled to sleep after beating Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and I don't want to have a loss to Josh Dobbs. It just can't happen. I understand that they were on this 5-game winning streak. Kevin O'Connell was my pick for head coach instead of Nathaniel Hackett, so I definitely love what he's doing up there. That all being said, we need this win. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it's a Broncos win, 20-13, Sunday Night Football. A couple of touchdowns, a couple of field goals. We get it done. We're able to do enough to keep Josh Dobbs out of the end zone, at least multiple times, obviously.
Yeah.
And we get the win. So we make them settle for a couple of field goals and a touchdown. We got a win on Sunday Night Football. Not the exciting game that maybe was this last one, but hey, we'll take the wins any way we can get them. And I think we do get a little bit of a breakout. I hope when Judy does get to go off just a little bit. Like I said, a few other predictions in here. Got Clayton coming in here and saying 28-14 us, baby. Got Ernie Mays coming in and saying 21-6 Broncos. Loving that. Make sure I get everyone. Kenny Kirkpatrick, I think, is the one that's coming in on this one, saying, there he is, 27-17 from Kenny Kirkpatrick. Jody Moncrief, also 27-17. So, man, a lot of people think they're going to be, a couple of friends of the show definitely think they're going to be putting up big points. Both Kenny, Jody, Clayton, all thinking we're going to be going 27 plus in points. Ernie Mays, no slouch himself, coming in saying 21. So big scores from you guys, expecting big things from our Broncos, and I love it, man. I'm hoping Ernie Mays is right, man. I hope we can keep him to 6 points. That would be fantastic. That would be a wonderful, wonderful performance by this defense, in my opinion. So I wanted to get to this end, man. We got the predictions out of the way. There's no way I'm going to make the 2 seconds that we have left that I had said that we would go till 8. So you get a little bit extra time. And this is what I want for you from us. We were talking about it again. We got this win out of the way, man. Got a few more games coming up, man, that look like they're possibly winnable. Are we talking the Broncos in the playoffs? Is that a possibility, Trevor? Do we break, what was it, 7-year curse of not making the playoffs? Is that a possibility, bud?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. I think anytime you get a chance, I mean, you're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and plus you just faced, again, when both teams are top of their game, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, those are two of the most winning franchises in the past probably 3-4 years. So I would say it's definitely possible. I mean, you've given yourself a chance. It's time to take care of business against a team that, I mean, if you don't take care of business, that we're back at square one. Maybe not completely, but I mean, you're definitely questioning this team again if they don't get the job done against the Minnesota Vikings. But I think this is definitely a winnable game. I mean, you talk about Josh Dobbs. He's 2 games in to his career in Minnesota. He's been the talk of that team right now. Just how much he's carried that team a little bit. So I think the best way to do it, knock him down. Take care of business at home. Again, you have to take care of business at home. Also, here's a point: Colorado kid Dalton Reisner from against Colorado. Playing in this game, stick it to Dalton Reisner. Come on, you got to get a win. What better way? He's coming back to Denver. I love Dalton Reisner. What better way? Get a win against one of your former players that a couple years ago had big praise. And again, wish all nothing but luck to Dalton Reisner. But best way to do it: get a win against Dalton Reisner and the Minnesota Vikings.
And poor Dalton Reisner, man. He's just the offensive lineman. Jeez, he's not like the big wide receiver that took his talents elsewhere. Jeez, picking on Dalton Reisner. I probably wouldn't feel that way so, vehemently if I didn't meet him at training camp, and he was like
Yeah,
the nicest guy at training
yeah, I
camp.
love
So
Dalton. Yeah,
Dalton Reisner is an awesome dude, but
yeah,
yeah, I do want to see him take a loss this
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah. That's what I
That
want.
all being said. Clayton saying coming in and saying, I said at the beginning of the season, my guys, 12-ish wins.
Ooh, ooh,
Ooh, yeah. Picking the uphill battle now, buddy. But I love you sticking with it. And I love the
yeah,
faith in the Broncos, man. Um, Playoffs are absolutely possible. As I quoted the other night, I don't know why this stuck with me. I just remember the Celtics winning the title with Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Garnett looking up into the sky and saying anything is possible.
yeah,
You know, anything is possible. Any given Sunday, man. I'm telling you, this Broncos team has got a little something in their back pocket. They got a little something in their gut. They got a little something. They're feeling it.
yeah,
Little bit of fire. They got a little bit of burn going, and it's feeling good. And I hope that it can continue to grow. That fire can continue to grow, and hopefully it gets so hot, it gets so warm in Dove Valley that the fans start to feel it from stem
yeah,
to stern. Because I know how it is. As Matt Staffiero came in early in our broadcast and saying, it seems like we win the ones we're not supposed to and lose the ones that we are. That's the way the Broncos have felt. You walk in, you're like, oh yeah, we got it. We got the Jets. No big deal. We got the Seahawks to open up against Russell Wilson. No big deal. All these games that just didn't seem to go our way, and then we beat the Buffalo Bills and we beat the Kansas City Chiefs this year. So I get it, but I'm really, like I said, I'm really hoping they can continue. Broncos fan base can start to feel good about their team. You know what I mean? And start willing them to wins, I guess is the best way. I always felt like I had that as a little kid, sitting there watching John Elway. It was me wanting it so bad that was helping them get down the field,
yeah.
and we need that a little bit. I need to get to the comments. I'm going to get some final thoughts from you, Trevor, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Clayton's coming in here. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Clayton.
Saying great way to top off a Friday night, guys. You guys, great job, guys.
Thank you, Clayton.
Appreciate that so much. Kenny's coming in and saying, Keith, I sound like a broken record, but playoffs are here already for the Broncos. Yeah. Yeah, when you dig yourself in a hole, especially all of a sudden every game is the road to the playoffs because you can't lose any. Can't lose any. And right now they're in the mode where they can't lose against the Minnesota Vikings. Very well put. Thank you so much, Kenny. Closing thoughts, Trevor. Had a good show. Appreciate everyone who stuck with us as we came on late, but we stayed a little late. So closing thoughts for you, sir.
Yeah, so I just want to thank everybody that was here tonight, and you guys make this possible, and we're going to be a post game Sunday, so watch out for that. I'm right after game, hopefully. So just again, thank you guys for coming in the show. Time for the Broncos to take care of business. I mean, we talk about it. Well, they won games that they really weren't expected to win, and then they need to. They're not really winning games that, at least in years past, and maybe earlier on in the season, that they were expected to win. Well, it's time to flip the script on that. Now you have two winnable games. Minnesota and Cleveland, both teams lost their starting quarterbacks. Time to take care of business. Win games that you're supposed to win. It's clear. It's right in front of them. I mean, football gods on the Broncos side right now. It's time to take care of business. And that starts Sunday night.
I agree, man. Like our friend came in, Kenny, and said every game's a playoff game at this point. Agreed, man.
Yeah.
This is the time, man. This is the time. This is the time to go out there, get those wins. The wins we weren't expected, the wins that we are expected. It doesn't matter, Again, time to flip the script. We may have been losing to teams we should have won to, but this week we just can't put it. No excuses. I agree. Well put. Kenny's coming in here one last time saying, closing thought, great show as always. I'm off Sunday, so maybe an appearance from the stepfather? Ooh, maybe. Man, I'll have to get on my private line, or send one of my guys down there with a bag with a message in it, paper bag with a message in it to the stepfather or something like that. A coded message that only we know.
Yeah, exactly.
might be just throwing that out there to Kenny. Appreciate everyone that came in here. That's what I wanted to start off with for my closing thoughts. We had Ernie Mays that came in here. We had Pearl that came in here. We had my good friend Danny Kitchen, because I'm trying to remember some of these. We had Matt Staffiero, Patrick Wiltsey. Aloha to you as we're getting out of here, Patrick. Thank you so much. Who else do we have in here? Anybody else? We had Jody Moncrief. I remember that. Jody Moncrief.
Can't forget
of
that
course,
guy.
you can see him. You can see his face every Tuesday on the Denver Bronco Roundup, so watch for that as well. And if I'm missing people, I apologize, but you guys blew up the comment board, and I keep scrolling and scrolling, looking for names really quick, and I'm not seeing any off the top of my head. But thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes.
We are brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. The Rocky Mountain Sports Network is your Colorado sports connection here, right here. You know, they'll keep you connected to, well, your Broncos, your Avalanche, your Nuggets, and your Rockies. So stay connected. Head on over to the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. And the best way to do that, at least from a website perspective, well, you can just go over and type in www.rockymountainsn.com. That's rockymountainsn.com. Check out everything there. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on Twitter. You can check us out on X, which is also Twitter. And you can check us out on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We appreciate that a ton. Helps us get in contact with all your friends and families. You know that they're Broncos fans too, even if they're in the closet. Go ahead and share this out. Make sure that you're getting in contact with all of the Broncos fans. We want them all right here. Have a great conversation just like we had tonight, guys. Also, guys, Willow Seasonings and Blends, man. Willow Seasonings and Blends is really important right now, guys, because, well, it's almost the holidays. Shipping times are coming up. I know every single one of you have a barbecue guy in your life. I don't care if it's your dad, your brother, your uncle, you know, grandpa. There's always a barbecue guy in your life. And I'm telling you, there's no better way to take care of your barbecue guy than head over to willowseasonings.com. That's willowseasonings.com. And I'm telling you, these are award-winning, Colorado-owned. You can find them all up and down the front range, man. And they have a fantastic, if you head over to www.willowseasonings.com, they have a little place where you can put in where you're from, and they'll show your closest location where you can pick up Willow Seasonings. How great is that? If you don't want to, venture out, you want to do all your shopping from home, you can go to that website, but do this, man. I'm telling you, type in promo code DBR2023. That's DBR for Denver Bronco Roundup. DBR 2023 in your checkout, in your promo code. It's going to save you 15% off your checkout. Hey, it's going to make you happy. It's going to make that barbecue guy in your family, that gift underneath the tree, when they open that up, they'll be happy as well. So check out willowseasonings.com today. Don't miss out. Again, Christmas is right around the corner, guys, and you don't want to miss out on those shipping dates. Get it all early and save yourself 15% with DBR 2023. Guys, appreciate you guys so much coming in and being a part of a fantastic show on this Friday night. We got final thoughts from our good friend Jody. Final thoughts for him was Russ for MVP. And I'm telling you what, man, in the year of QB2, as somebody else pointed out, you never know. So, guys, we're going to get out of here. Again, you can catch us post-game on Sunday. You can catch us always on Tuesday. That's our main show where you can catch Jody and Albert and Trevor and I. Seems like we're doing more and more shows. Make sure that you're checking out the website. Make sure you're supporting willowseasonings.com that I have still up on the bottom of our screen right there, guys. Maybe I'll get rid of that real quick. I want to go ahead and I just want to tell you guys, we appreciate you a ton. Again, we'll see you very soon. Should we do this? Keep your feet in the stirrups, right? Keep your guns in your holster.
Yeah.
Keep the Broncos in your heart.
Your hearts.
Thank you guys so much. Until next time, which is Sunday night, after the game, have a great night. Go Broncos.